Hello, good evening. What the hell is happening, folks? How's everybody tonight? Nice to see some people here in chat already. Cool. I'm doing much better. My hands can both reach out onto the desk. This should be a joy to hobby on. Greetings, left-handed Texan. I'm not left-handed anymore, I can use both hands. Monkey Llama, Stephen, Michael, good evening everybody. How are you? Let me throw up the restream chat. Cool. I'm building Helbrecht at the moment. High Marshal Helbrecht. I have been converting him into a Blood Angel. And based on the rules that released this week, I may even proxy him as Guilliman in my next battle report. Because apparently Helbrecht has the same size base as Guilliman. It's giant base. Why the fuck has he got such a giant base? I always complain about Dante not being... Look at this. There you go. And there's Dante on Helbrecht's base. So Helbrecht's auras get about an extra fucking inch and a half. It's good, innit? Dante, you let me down. Is Primaris Dante going to be on a 60mm base? Chicken Flurry says, what new rules? Can we soup again? Within reason. Within reason. But there was an FAQ this week that said... what did the FAQ say? The FAQ said that... oh, I need to think. It said that we were allowed to include a Adept as a Astartes Primarch unit in our army, and in doing so, you will not lose any of your detachment abilities. So, if you want to take a Primarch, and I mean, it's strange that they said a Primarch when there's only one at the moment, and it's Rebute, which... it's even more fuel in the fire that there's going to be a new Primarch released. But you can take Rebute in a Blood Angel's army. You don't lose any of your detachment abilities. You don't you really don't take any negative penalty for taking him. In fact, Rebute actually, if you take Rebute, he has to be your warlord. Means you can't have a Blood Angel's warlord. So yeah, I mean, there's a few things like, you know, Sanguinary Guard get that sort of like +1 to hit when they're near a Blood Angel's warlord, so you wouldn't get that. But what you would get is you'd get to start on 9 command points, because Rebute, by being in your detachment, gives you 3 command points. So you would start with 9 CP, so you could take your Blood Angel's characters, you could play multiple Heroes of the Chapter. How many times can you play Heroes of the Chapter? Is there a cap? I know that we see a bunch of lists use it twice. I actually don't know if there's a cap on Hero of the Chapter and or Relics of the Chapter, right? So you could load up on those things on your other characters. Every character could run like a Relic and a Warlord trait. And yeah, I really think I'm going to run Rebute as well next time. Oh, and the other thing I guess about running Rebute is because you don't lose any of your Blood Angel stuff, then any unit that's within 12 inches of Rebute would get +2 to advance and charge, right? Because the +1 from advance and charge from the Blood Angels would stack with Rebute's +1, because he does +1 to all Imperium within 12 inches. Arguably, you could even include... Could you include Rebute and Armigers? I don't know, I didn't read into that. Hey Mike, good evening. Zachary. Yeah, the arm is doing so much better. I think they said I was going to have to do physiotherapy for the arm, but I think because it's my right arm and because I have kids, I'm always doing things with the kids. So I'm always like doing stuff with my right arm without thinking about it. For example, like tonight I picked up like dinner plates or whatever, and they were too heavy really for my arm because I've only had the cast off since Monday, but like I mean, didn't do any damage. It was just like, oh yeah, that was pretty sore to pick those dinner plates up. So I think I'm just going to end up doing things with my right arm all the time. So my right arm is doing a million times better. Exo7, I think Hero of the Chapter is capped at 2 and 2,000 points. Oh yeah, I think there is a cap, you're right. So I think you could have 2 Heroes of the Chapter, 2 Heroes of the Chapter, 2 Relics, and then you could probably take some Volcon Contemptors, because I think they're probably your best option for Dreadnoughts right now. Steven said he played his first game and it was 1,000 points. He ran out of CP for the whirlwind. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Blood Angels don't have a great way of regenerating CP. So, if you're not going to start on a lot, you have to be pretty clever. Don't tell me this glue nozzle is blocked. I think it might be. There is no glue coming. I reckon it's blocked. Okay, not the end of the world. We can fix that. Evening, Mike. Miguel. Good evening. They think there's other Primarchs coming. Yeah, let me just fix this glue nozzle. I need fire to fix it. There we go. Yeah, it was blocked. I can smell the glue coming already. There we go. For many years, when those things got blocked, I fannied around trying to put like a safety pin up in front, inside them or something to try and like unblock them. Who knew that it took 2 seconds with a cigarette lighter? Good evening, Jim. Steven's selling a lot of his Blood Angel stuff, making room for new models. I'm not selling anything because if experience tells me anything, what is not powerful right now will become powerful, and what is powerful will not become powerful. So I think the best thing you can do from edition to edition is hold on to all. If you want to continue to play the army, I wouldn't get rid of anything. I would, in fact, just put anything that you don't think is competitive right now onto a shelf or something and revisit it, because chances are it will become competitive again, because it all goes round in circles. Aggressors were brilliant, they're rubbish, now they're potentially playable again. It all goes round. Hey, Chris. There's a lot of rumours about the Lion might return. Yeah, that's the rumours that Valrak's been talking about for months. I think, like, Valrak must have a good source, because he seems to always be nailing some of these rumours down, right? So, I don't know anyone that gives me rumours or anything like that, so that's why I don't do too many rumour videos. I do the odd one when I think there's some substance, but yeah, I don't do many rumour videos. It's Saturday, it is Saturday. Why did you say Sunday? Yeah, people have told me to buy Tamiya extra thin. The problem is, right, I've got loads of that Revel glue. Brand new in box, or whatever you want to call it. I've got loads of it. So, how do these things go together? Rage Helios, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. These legs go like this or something? That doesn't feel like a very good join. What am I missing? Normally these models have really good joins. Why has this one not got a good join? Are you going to go buy and you paint your own Guilliman? No, I'm just going to use Helbrecht, man, because I'm converting Helbrecht into a Blood Angel anyway, and he's on the same size base. I mean, maybe if I hadn't just bought Helbrecht, I might be buying Guilliman, but, I mean, I think by the time you stand Helbrecht on his base, he's going to be pretty tall. I don't think Guilliman's that much taller than him. With this winged thing that I put on the back of him here, like these Blood Angels wings, these are off the banner from the Sangre Guard. I think he's going to be tall enough where, like, I don't think anyone would have a problem with me proxying him. Evening, Jimmy. Funny if it caught a light, I'll always remove the nozzle before lighting it. There's a flammable warning on the side of the bottle. Is there? Oh yeah, there is a flammable warning. Oh, well, I've done that loads of times. I usually do it over the sink, to be fair. So I guess if it did catch fire, I'd throw it into the sink. Different when you're streaming. But yeah, thanks for the notice. Maybe next time I'll make sure I do it over the sink. Or somewhere I can just, if it does catch fire, it's not going to be flammable or dangerous. That's probably a good idea. This is a terrible join. This cannot be right. Is this right? What am I missing? Why is this such a bad... It feels like... Most of these new models have really nice bits that join together. This one just doesn't feel like it joins together in any way, shape or form. Okay, I mean, maybe I'll put the arms on and then I'll worry about joining the bottom to the head. 25 and 26 and 27. 25, 26, 27, okay. Steven's saying I'm selling the Chainbreaker Lance box I picked up for 104. Well, that's a good price, man. I mean, you should, if you're selling models, go to eBay. You always... Models sell pretty good on eBay, I feel like. Sometimes you get bargains on eBay, but I think you can make a lot of money selling the models on eBay. Good evening, John. How you doing? Frank, good evening. How's everybody tonight? What's everybody working on? If you're working on some hobby tonight, let us know what you're working on. It's been a long time since I did conversions, so I've been kind of enjoying this. I want to try and find something to cover the Black Templar's emblem on its chest. But I've got my bits boxes out. I have no idea if I've got something that could cover it, but I'd hope to find something. If you were going to paint a Guilliman, what colour would you paint him? Probably gold, right, Mike? I mean, I think I was thinking about this for this Helbrecht. I was thinking that I was going to spray him black, paint his cloak maybe like Mephiston red, and then maybe make his armour like gold. I was thinking about spraying him gold, but the problem I think with spraying him gold is like sometimes when you spray them gold, you have to do a lot of coats of other colours. Like if he's got this big ornate cloak, which is like the whole back of the model, you'd probably have to put like 3 or 4 coats on that to cover up all the metallic of the gold showing through. Which honestly I don't know if I can be bothered with. So I thought I'd just spray him black and just paint the gold onto the armour. Didn't realise I was already subscribed, says Raid. No problem. Sometimes YouTube actually unsubscribes you to channels. I've definitely had that happen before to me as well. Mike's working on Tempest Science, which he's converted to Voidsman at Arms. They are definitely... Voidsman at Arms are a good unit. I think Voidsman at Arms got a lot better. I mean, people can disagree with me, but I think the new update has made Voidsman at Arms even better. I think they were good before. I think they're really good now. Robert's working on 15 Blightlord Terminators. Monkey's working on his Interceptors. Jim's working on Infiltrators and Hammer Terminators. Jimmy's doing Deathwatch as always. A lot of people working tonight on hobby stuff. Hadley says, morning, I'm converting some tacticals into a couple of Las Cannon Devastators, basing my Inceptors and magnetizing a couple of Thunderhammers. Man, I think that they need to hurry up and make Marine Las Cannons D3+3. They're so rubbish with D6 damage, man. Well, I actually felt kind of bad in the tournament when I played the guy who had Bjorn, the Space Wolf Dreadnought that's got like double Las Cannons, because he spent the whole game trying to do some damage with Bjorn, and when he finally did do some damage, he'd already CP re-rolled a roll in that shooting phase, and he rolled a 1 for the Las Cannon damage. I was like, oh my god, he's invested so much in that Bjorn character, and he's done nothing for him this game. It's sad that Space Marine Las Cannons are still D6 damage. They need the D3+3 or even D6+2. I think that's what the Chaos one's got. They need something. They're terrible. D6 damage is just terrible. Hello, Joel. What for salamanders? What color lenses should I do? Oh, good question. Anyone in chat want to help me out with that? I feel like if they're green armor, you probably do red lenses. Because, like, I do red armor typically, and I do green lenses, so I feel like that would probably make sense. But I don't have any salamanders myself, I guess. All right, so that's one guy. Once I figure out how the hell his body's supposed to work. And then we've got this other guy. A lot of people use red lenses. My Necrons sympathise with the D6 issue. Yeah, that's true. They'll change it though. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't changed it already, because I mean, they know it's a problem, because like if you look at the rule set for like Arcs of Omen, they didn't give any those you know, they made multi-metals cost extra points, but they just left all the las cannons and stuff like free, I guess, because no one in their right mind will take that. Like I think I have a squad of Devastators. Like I think I actually have a squad of Devastators with las cannons. I know I've got multi-metal ones. I'm pretty sure I might even have plasma cannon ones. But like, if I'm gonna run them, it's just gonna be the multi-metal ones, really. Glotigress, thank you so much for following. I appreciate it, dude. Actually, primarily stream on YouTube, but I am on Twitch on a couple of nights a week as well. So, thanks for following. If you haven't checked out the channel on YouTube, you should. I got like weekly tactics videos every week over here on YouTube. Oh, Dudette, sorry. Do you know what? I would generally call girls dude as well. I think dude is kind of like gender ambiguous, maybe? Maybe I'm wrong. I just call everyone dude. If I call you dude, it means that we're friends. You're cool, right? John is painting some Eradicators. Cynic says paint them any colour you like. Even yellow or orange can pop. Yeah, that's very true. Ivan, good evening. Mike is actually doing a commission for me tonight as well. Are you streaming tonight, Mike? Oh, it's sore to take my arm out with this sling. But I've only had my cast off for like, I only got the cast off on Monday, and like some things are difficult. Like, see this mold line here? That's a bit sore to do that. But I've got another X-ray in 6 weeks where they decide if I get discharged, I guess. But like honestly, I think like 2 weeks. Considering how much I've improved this week, I think like in 2 weeks' time, I would say I'll have like 90% of the use of my arm back. Just because like it all comes down to the kids, man. Like picking up my daughter and moving things around with them, and like having kids just forces you to be really mobile. So if you break a bone or something, you'll probably heal really quickly because you just have to be mobile, because the kids don't understand, right? Adley says I need 10 multi-meltas. I think you can get multi-meltas now with those new Horus Heresy box sets, right? You can buy just like heavy weapons. I haven't bought any myself, but I've definitely seen the boxes. Like if you head over to Games Workshop and head into like the Horus Heresy section, they're definitely doing boxes now with weapons, so you'll be able to like just buy up like a box. I think it's like 17 or 18 quid on Games Workshop, so if you go to a reseller, maybe like 15. So you can get, I think the box has like 10 multi-meltas, 10 plasma cannons, and maybe it's 10 las cannons. I actually don't know quite the contents of the box. But you'll get something like that for like 15 quid, which is actually really, really good value, because if you try and buy those things individually on eBay, you'll be like £5 per one, because the people will charge like $3 plus shipping, right? For the Chestnut Helbrecht, you can do something similar I did for a Thunderhammer on some shoulders. There's a half goblet dangling, cutting off, and voila, blood chalice on the chest. Interesting. What model would have the half goblet dangling, dude? Is it just Helbrecht you have? So I have another box here. But I mean, all the models I have are playable as Black Templars, pretty much, except like the Sanguinary God, except the Blood Angel specific one, right? I'm 50-50 at the moment. I'm gonna run Blood Angels this week. I think I'm gonna have Guilliman I'm probably going to run Blood Angels the week after, with or without Guilliman. And then going into early next month, I'm going to run a couple of lists as Black Templars. And I think Black Templars got a huge buff in terms of survivability. Well, maybe not just survivability, the points drops they got were kind of insane as well, right? So I think my plan for the upcoming GT is to decide if it's going to be Blood Angels or if it's going to be Black Templars. They're the two armies that I can realistically field. Okay, that's how that bit goes on. Makes sense. Cool. Good evening, Burgosaurus. Hello. Death Company shoulder pads. Death Company shoulder pads. I have put some shoulder pads on this guy. Blood Angels ones, but what do you mean by Death Company shoulder pads, Ivan? But I figure that weapon box isn't that cheap, and it fits the Mark 6 kits. Devastator box with the bodies as well, less guns but full figures. Yeah, I mean, you could probably convert them though, right? Like, or would they not be convertible? Yeah, I usually just always convert stuff. I always think that if you put a good enough paint job on it afterwards, people won't really know that it's a conversion, or people won't look that closely. If you already have the bodies, the Horus Heresy kit is worth it. Our impulsors are actually quite good now. 3 multi-mouses and missile rays and 5-ups. Yes, Robert, 100%. The list that I was building for Black Templars has an impulsor. It has a repulsor, because they're quite good as well for Black Templars. And it also has a gladiator tank, because again, they're quite good for Black Templars. So, yeah, I'm going to have to see... how if I can beat Iron Hands. I've said to Andrew's going to a different event from me. He's actually going to an event end of February. I'm going to an event beginning of March. So he wants practice with his Iron Hands because he wants to win the event he's going to. And honestly, I'm quite glad that he's not going to the same event as me, because I think Iron Hands are kind of silly broken. They're so powerful, it's crazy. I think a lot of our... Because Andrew was like, if you want to take my Iron Hands to the event so you win it, you can. I was like, I don't really want to play Iron Hands. I like using my own models, etc, etc. So, I want to get a couple of games into his Iron Hands and see if I can beat them. Like, see if they are beatable for Blood Angels. Because if they're not beatable, I don't want to go to an event where it's like... I generally hate going to events when I know there's matchups we can't beat. Because my luck seems to be I get those matchups on maps that are really bad for us, and also it just sucks going to an event. Like the last event I went to with Blood Angels, and I knew that like I literally can't beat Sisters of Battle. With Armor of Contempt, and with all their units trading quicker, and with their guaranteed charges, and with them basically able to score 100 points every game, I just knew, I was like, right, like if I come up against Sisters of Battle, I cannot beat them. And then I came up against them. I actually went first, so I managed to Forlorn Fury my Death Company into like one of the squads of the Retributors, and I managed to trade up giantly. Like, you know, I traded my like 160 point Death Company for like a 300 point squad. Maybe not 300, let's say 250, something like that. And then so it was like the perfect start. I think I was able to consolidate into another unit as well, so they couldn't shoot me without falling back. So it was kind of like, it was the perfect start in that game, and I still lost the game. Iron Hands are beatable. Dark Angels are beatable. I played Dark Angels at this event just past, and it was super close. I probably would have beaten them if I'd had another game against Dark Angels. I think Iron Hands are way stronger than Dark Angels. I don't know why you think Dark Angels are stronger than Iron Hands. Have you played Iron Hands? Their whole army basically has... What is it, like... about 80% chance to hit with heavy weapons. They can move and shoot, they can reserve it all, and they have extra durability on all Marines because of their feel no pains. Sisters got a hard nerf in the secondary and Armor of Content. Yeah, Sisters are done. Well, I mean, this is very broad to just say they're done. Sisters, I guess, are not in, like, they're not unbeatable for... I felt like they were unbeatable for Blood Angels now. I think possibly we could beat them. It'll be a hard game. I still think it's a hard game to play Blood Angels into Sisters, because all their units are cheaper and they all genuinely trade with Blood Angels units. But it's better. Alright, I'm going to check out Discord in just a second and see if I can see this picture. Did you DM it to me, yeah? Dark Angels are probably stronger. Are they? I don't think Dark Angels are have the same oppressive fire though, right? Like even Sangry Guard don't get a save against Iron Hands. It's just crazy. It's just like, you know, you're in cover, maybe. Like, I had Death Company in cover, and it's just like, no, you don't get a save. I feel like against Dark Angels, you would at least get a save. And when 80% of your army doesn't get saved, like, it generally feels pretty bad. I felt like you generally don't win games if 80% of your army doesn't get a roll of saving throw. I feel like you don't win the game. That's how it felt anyway. I know the shoulder pad you're talking about, so what were you expecting me to do this shoulder pad then? I definitely have one of those shoulder pads. What's the plan for it? Torden says congrats on #1. Thanks, Torden. It was really cool to win my first 40k event. I have the trophy here, if you've not seen it. It's a pretty cool trophy. It's pity it's so see-through, but there you go. It felt pretty cool. Now we just need to win a solo event. I felt like there was so much more pressure on solo events though, you know that? Like, even in the final game at that event where we kind of knew we could have a chance of winning the event, because it was kind of like we were pretty much linked, or we were pretty much even with like the folk that were winning it. Like, it was super close on points, but like I just didn't feel any pressure, which was different. In the solo events I always like give myself quite a lot of pressure, or I feel like there's quite a lot of pressure. So I like team events a lot, actually. They're fun, and you can lose a game and you can still win the event, and because there's a sort of like the whole strategy around the matchups. If you know that somebody's going to have a bad matchup, you can kind of work around it and stuff. I really enjoyed the team event. Do I have Grimaldus? Yes, I do. Don't really know where to glue this. Didn't seem like there was very good contact points. There's basically Ravenwing right now. Ravenwing goes into... The thing about Ravenwing is if I get to go first against Ravenwing, I can kill a lot, right? Because, like, their invulnerable saves require them to have moved, etc. So if they haven't moved and I can jump a squad of Death Company into the middle of them, I can kill all those flyers and bikes fairly quickly. Like, they're not durable without their invulnerable saves, right? At least that's how I foresee it. I actually, when I played Ravenwing, I was like, I really hope I get to go first. I really hope to get to go first, and then I didn't. Which is the story of my life. When I want to go first, I never get to go first. Okay. Anton says that's not a Blood Angels model. No, I was just saying how Helbrecht comes on a base like that size. You could almost fit like 4 Commander Dantes into this base. What's that about? What's that about, eh? Shave down the icon on the chest a little and fill it, and then cut off the goblet. and just glue it to the chest. Shave down the icon on the chest a little. Then cut off the goblet. Are you giving up on retrieve battlefield data, or will you adapt your list to guarantee it better? I mean, retrieve battlefield. I think the big winner. I could be wrong here. I think the big winner from the secondaries is to me it feels like the big winner is behind enemy lines. Behind enemy lines is hugely good now, right? And it's like for troop units, it's kind of amazing. The join on this bit of the join on this model is terrible. I don't know. This is the worst. This is the worst join I've had on like a Primaris model. Feels like. Data is fine. I mean, I feel like Blood Angels or Marines in general don't have brilliant secondaries this edition around, unless you're an army that can really benefit from the heavy doctrine. Or the Codex Warfare, rather. This just feels terrible. Like, why is this so terrible? Why does this not stick? What's up with this model? That can't be right. Must have missed a bit. What's it supposed to look like? Did anyone glue this little guy here, step 8? Anyone done this step 8? This is Grimaldus, no, sorry, this is Helbrecht. This is his little, one of the little dude that's supposed to be wiping his sword. Has anyone glued that? There's like a Hauken bit. There's like a giant hole in the middle of the, like, you can see through him. You can see the page. Like, what is that? Look, you can see right through him. Like, this top bit does not fit onto the bottom bit at all. It just doesn't fit. I mean, I guess I can probably try and fill it with some green stuff. Am I playing Templars now? No, not this week. Probably going to play Blood Angels with this Helbrecht proxied as a Guilliman, because rotated to the right. Oh, right, you rotated like 45 degrees. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're a genius. Okay, that makes sense. Cool, you can't see through him anymore. That is some weird pose. That does not look like he's rotated 45 degrees. That looks like he's rotated like 15 degrees at most. I was not even close with my estimate. Thank you. Yeah, I already put like Blood Angel shoulder pad on him here, Blood Angel shoulder pad on here, Blood Angel's whatever you call this, wings off the top of the Sanguinary Guard up here. So he's basically a Blood Angel, but he's the Black Templar. But I think, oh, let me close Discord or it's gonna ping all the time I'm streaming. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some more conversions after this as well, but yeah, this guy's getting painted as a Blood Angel 100%. But yeah, I'm gonna run him as Guilliman this week, I think. Blood Angels guy from SNN Battle Reports exploited the Heavy Doctor in Codex Warfare as the Blood Angels, and they won. He played really, really well. I mean, you'd have to take a lot of heavy firepower to do that, Miguel, and like most people will, most people in the sort of Blood Angels communities or whatever, they'll why do we want Guilliman? Well, I mean, you'd get +2 to charge, for everybody within 12 of them, right? You would get to reroll 1s for everybody within 12 of them, including things that aren't core. So tanks could reroll 1s, so your battle predators could reroll 1s. He's a monster in melee. If they do, he has a 3-up invulnerable save. If they do kill him, he's 50-50 chance to revive with d6 wounds, I think. He also lets you start on 9 command points, because he gives you 3 for being the warlord. You don't lose any detachment abilities. So in a meta where everybody's going to be reserving stuff now because it's free to reserve stuff, and we talk about like 8-inch charges from deep strike being a liability or unreliable. Suddenly, if you've got Terminators, well, all your Terminators can charge 7 inches from deep strike, so you don't need to worry about like a chaplain with Canticle of Hate. The reroll 1 aura is pretty nice on vehicles, on dreadnoughts, on Terminators could certainly use it, so that, you know, I think there's quite a lot that you could get out of Guilliman, potentially. I was thinking about this last week, because you can build this base with an orc dead on it. I think I'm just going to go for the scenic base without the dead orc. I'm so slow at painting, and I've never painted an orc before. So, I have painted an orc, but like 20 years ago. So I don't think I want to try and have to paint my first orc on this scenic base. So we're just going to do the base where it's just like the terrain, I guess. What do you think of the validity of a librarian with Veil of Time and Psychic Fortress? I think Psychic Fortress is going to be a lot more valuable. Like, I think my next Blood Angels list is probably going to run Psychic Fortress. The thing is, if you take Psychic Fortress, I feel like you have to take the upgrade to get Psychic Master, because otherwise your Psychic Fortress won't be reliable, and, you know, why are you putting it in your list if it's not reliable? So I think you need to have the Chief Librarian, the Psychic Master. If you're doing that, then I would probably take Null Zone or Might of Heroes as well, because you get another power by being the Chief Librarian anyway. Might of Heroes is a good one, especially if you're bringing Dreads. You can make your Dreads up to Toughness 8. Gives them more attacks too. So, I lost my train of thought there for a second. That's a pretty cool scenic base, actually. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think you want a Firstborn Librarian with a jump pack, with Psychic Fortress, with Psychic Master, and then you mentioned Veil of Time, but the other 2 powers that I mentioned are good as well. Choose what fits your army. John says my Blood Angels did really well this week, played it twice in one. I still think it can be better. Most of the Blood Angel specific troops were gone. Yeah, John, so what did you swap out? You bring in a lot of Storm Shields, or you bring in Dreadnoughts? Like, what did you do to... I think you can probably run 1 Sangre Guard now. You can probably still run a couple of Death Company, but like, I don't think you probably want to go any harder on those units, because they obviously took quite a bit of a nerf. It's a little sad. Right after I got 25 Sangre Guard all painted is now the time that you only want to be running 5 Sangre Guard. People have been shouting at me all edition to have like more Sangre Guard, have like the whole squad of them, have 3 squads, big squads. Now it's like, no, you don't want that. You really don't. That's only if the G-Man is close and he only moves 8. I mean, in turn 1 you're going to advance him, right? Like, what the hell is he going to do except advance in turn 1, Anton? So really, in turn 1 he's moving about 11 inches forward. I think you'd want to give him a bodyguard or something, so like a squad of Blade Guard, or the Sword Polishers leaning over the Dead Orc. Yeah, but you get a different bit. It's a choice here. Look, you can put the Dead Orc on, or you can put on just this like rock that the Sword Polisher is on. So I'm just going to do the rock. It'll be quicker for me to paint it, knowing how slow I am at painting anyway. I have the Chief Librarian on my Librarian Dreadnought. Should I bother, since he only has Sanguinary casts on 6s? I mean, I guess if you want 3 powers, yes, you should bother. But, yeah, I guess there is an advantage to the Firstborn one that's basically, like, able to take that Psychic... Hold on. Psychic Mastery is a Warlord trait. So you can take Psychic Mastery on Librarian Dreadnought. What makes you think you can't take it? So you can still get the 5-up casts. 6-up casts are okay. They're not terrible, but like in a tournament, if you're going to a tournament, which is what I care about, because that's what I do, I go to tournaments. If you're going to a tournament, you need reliability. You can't be wasting your command points on rerolls of psychic tests. I mean, you can, and I've definitely done it, and I've definitely failed psychic tests on a 5. But you just want to limit that to as low as possible, I guess, right? Alright, so where the hell does this thing go? Here, maybe? These instructions have not been great, honestly. Does that go there? No, I have no idea where that goes. Okay, give me a second. If you bring a librarian, then in Arcs of Omen, the Phobos librarian would be best coupled with Lord of Deceit. He would be. Good evening, DTM. How you doing? You're not that late. I never know when I'm starting to stream on Saturday night anyway, because it's always kid dependent, right? So, I'm like failing to build this model anyway, so it shouldn't be that difficult, I feel like. Alright, I glued those two pieces together, and on their diagram it's like that. So this bit must go here somewhere. I can't figure it out. Oh, there it goes. Alright, that's how it slots in. Okay. Also, re-rolling psychic tests is an increased chance for perils. That's true. So I mean, that's why I think you maybe, if you want to do the psychic mastery thing, the either Soul Warden on a nearby character or a Sanguinary Priest is also really handy, right? So if you do get those peril rolls that you can, because the Firstborn Librarian doesn't have many wounds, right? He's got like 4, I think. So if you get a perils and you roll like a 5 or 6 on the mortals, he's hurting pretty bad straight away. Mike says, good news, I'm on the final bit of these effing Voidsmen before I can base them. Well, I mean, that's great news for me, Mike. I'm excited to get my actual Voidsmen. I've been proxying them for a while. Alright, so that's the scenic base on. So where does Helbrecht's foot go? Something like that, is that right? And his sword sits like that. This is actually, yeah, this is a very cool model. I hope the Blood Angels get I hope our new, I don't know, a range refresh, when we get a range refresh, is as cool as this, because when I first bought this I thought like, yeah, it's a bit pricey, but it's actually very cool. So this will be this will probably be oh fuck. Okay, my arm's not quite there yet. I gotta watch. I try to lift it up, and my arm's like, yeah, you can't quite go up that high yet. I keep forgetting. We got my cast off on Monday. My arm's feeling a hell of a lot better. Like to the point where like it's not sore if I'm just chilling around. Arm said no. Good day from Australia. Hello, Gladiator Gaming. Hello. Alright, so this guy's supposed to sit somewhere on here. Cleaning the sword? Where the hell does he fit? I think his leg's gonna fit on there. I mean, I was gonna say, if I glue this now, this is gonna be a nightmare to paint, isn't it? Do I leave these two little monsters off? Is that what you guys did? Did you leave these guys off and glue them on afterwards? Or does anyone... I mean, that guy might be okay, but yeah, no, I think I'm gonna leave the two servitor things off the base for now. Just like... they're just going to obscure them so much. And they're going to obscure themselves as well. I hate painting bits that are so obscured like that. Why the Helbrecht? 2 reasons. One is I'll probably play some Black Templars this season. because the season is 6 months long, and I think Black Templars are going to be super strong. The rules, all their free war gear on their vehicles and some of their invulnerable saves is going to be pretty cool. But I think for the interim, because I'm going to be playing Blood Angels for the next few weeks anyway, at least. I'm going to run this guy as Guilliman. He's on the same size base as Guilliman. I feel like he's tall enough to be Guilliman, so I think I'm going to proxy him as Guilliman. That's my plan. Alright, so this is finished then. So, well, it's not finished. I need to see if I can get a bit to cover his chest piece. Marcus says, haven't been able to sub, times are hard, but I wish you well. Oh, Marcus, no problem, man. I know what that's like. You don't, you know, if you're here and you hang out and you watch the videos, not everybody needs to sub all the time. I appreciate people that can afford to and do sub. It helps me out loads. John says in reserve that I had 10 Eradicators, 5 Plasma Scepters. Yeah, that's the issue that I'm feeling with Arcs of Omen. I think that's the biggest problem we're going to see with Arcs of Omen, and that's why I think Iron Hands are going to be crazy good, because they can just reserve everything and have them all come in with like an 80% hit chance, and there's almost no risk. There's literally almost no risk. They're just going to bring them in, they're going to unload, and it's going to really hurt. It's like, well, I mean, I lost this week against Iron Hands. And it wasn't, I want to say it wasn't even really close. Like, they smoked me this week, and that was, I mean, they smoked me this week, and that was after, like, he played that list 2 times. I just won a tournament with my list. Pasta says, can't wait for Blood Angels to get a big centerpiece model. Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting, Pasta. We're going to continue to wait. Where's this Helbrecht going to go? He's going to go up here. Marshall Helbrecht. He can go up there for a minute, and I'm going to look through my bits boxes and see if I have some sort of Blood Angel thing that I can stick on his chest. Good evening, James. I have loads of pieces, bits. I was going to say, like, there might be some sort of weird winged piece. Might keep that Sangre banner out, actually. There might be some sort of winged weird piece that would just fit over his chest really nicely. That would be good. I've got a lot of nice Blood Angel shoulder pads just flying around as well, you know that? I actually even have, like, these are Blood Angels tactical. These were, remember the Blood Angels tactical squad that got discontinued? These are like backpacks from that tactical squad, with little blood drops and stuff on them. I mean, I think you can't get anything like that anymore, unfortunately. Alright, there's none in there. That's heads, that's heads. Let's have a look in this. That's heads as well. He, in fact, does not take your chapter tactics or your super doctrine. Yeah, I mean, they made Guilliman a lot better, right? Or they made allying with Guilliman a lot better. And the fact that he's still using 8th edition rules that don't care about core and just buff Imperium. I wasn't sure. Can you take, maybe somebody knows, can you take armigers with Guilliman? Because Guilliman would be really good with armigers as well, right? Because, like, armigers, oh, interesting. Do you think I could file that down? This could work. What about this thing? What is this thing off? You guys know what this is? I think it's a bit off an old banner or something. What is that? There's a skull with a set of wings on it. I could file that down and stick it right over his chest piece. off the bottom of it because I think that was like a bit of a stand or something. Alright, that's an option. That could cover his chest emblem, his Black Templar's chest emblem. I think Rose has written you can take Guilliman and Armigers. Sub-assemblies are the way to go. I tend to not sub-assemble, but yeah. I mean, I'll sub-assemble there because I can just glue those two guys into the base at the end. But like sub-assembling of arms and stuff like that, it never seems to work out well for me. It looks like it's off a backpack or maybe a Crozius. Yeah, maybe it's the top of an old Crozius or something. I don't know. That's a potential. Alright, we'll leave that one out. I have like 6 bit boxes. At some point I'm going to amalgamate them all into one bit box. I think that's possibly going to be one of my best options, though. I don't even know what that was from. It would be easy to do, though. I can just stand the back. Random light bulbs. Yeah, I mean, I've got random light bulbs in this bit box. I do have a giant light just out of camera that the bulbs always seem to go on, so that's why I have random light bulbs. Plus, they're the ones that you can change the hue on them. So, like, am I trying other chapters? Well, I'm trying different things in I'm trying different things in. I mean, I was gonna say I could put something Deathwatch over the front as well, maybe. Who's to say he hasn't been in the Deathwatch? That's cool. I mean, I bought this Deathwatch upgrade sprue after watching that that thing on Warhammer Plus. What was it called? The Blood Angels, the series. I forget what it's called. It wasn't called Angels of Death, but I feel like I wanted it to be called Angels of Death. Because I was thinking, and I am going to buy another box of Blood Angels Terminators because the shields and stuff went down in points, and when I was doing these last set of Blood Angels Terminators, I was making like custom ones, you know, like this one is actually a conversion of a Space Marine hero model, where I gave him like a Blood Angel shoulder pad and a Thunderhammer, and there's like a 3D printed Storm Shield. I think that's a 3D printed Blade Guard veteran shield that's got some Blood Angel stuff on it, because some of my Blade Guard have these 3D printed shields. I also have some of those circular shields, 3D printed ones of them. What are they called? You know, the Crimson Paladins? Was it actually called Angels of Death? Okay. Yeah, I've got like this, which is like one of those Crimson Paladin shields, and that's 3D printed. Like, that's a really nice 3D print, right? Like, I don't know once that's painted if you could even tell if that's 3D printed. But I was thinking for some of the future Terminators that I get from the set, I was going to use some of these 3D printed shields, along with give some of them like Deathwatch shoulder pads, because these are Deathwatch Terminator shoulder pads. Some of them are regular shoulder pads, but 2 of them are Terminator shoulder pads. So I made some of my Death Company models have Deathwatch shoulder pads because that was cool. And then I also bought these new beaky heads as well because I thought they were cool. I know some people really hate beaky heads. I like them. I'm gonna make one of my new Terminators actually with a beaky head. That'll really trigger some people, you know that? So yeah, I just make shit that I think looks cool. I don't. You guys know me. I'm not huge into the lore. Rule of cool wins here. Rule of cool indeed. If you are enjoying tonight's video, guys, remember hit that like button. It does actually really help me out. The YouTube algorithm can be fucked. Okay. So hold on, let me leave this Deathwatch bit out. Rumour is we're getting new Terminator sculpts. I did hear that this week, that there was going to be Primaris Terminators, or they're not going to be Primaris Terminators. They're going to just be... They're just going to be Terminators. Not like a new sculpt of Terminators. So they're still going to be Firstborn Terminators. Andrew 3D printed me these Blood Angels objective markers. I was supposed to spray and paint them. I've never got round to it. Oh look, I've got las cannons lying here because they're useless. I've got cool Blood Angels Terminators Lightning Claw arm lying here. Whose head is that? Random Blood Angel's head. Some more shoulder pads. Some guns. That's the top of the Sanguiner. That's a bit of resin. That's rubbish. Multi-melter, heavy bolter, shoulder pad. I don't think there's anything in that box that I could use. A Terminator with a beaky head, yeah, I mean that will really trigger people, because people really hate my Terminator that has the Primaris head. I love him, I think he looks cool, man. I really like him. That's the piece, that's the third option, that's the piece that people were saying I didn't know if I had one. That's a cloth bit that goes over the front of like your old Terminators, like the Sergeant. You know, it would go in there over the, so I could easily, could I put that cloth bit like over the front of Grimaldus? I could easily put that over the front of him, give him a purity seal, and then, I don't know, stick a small blood drop transfer on there. That's the piece that people told me in chat to look for. I didn't know, honestly didn't know if I had one. Okay, I do have one. Like old backpacks. All sorts of nonsense. I think that's 100 kilometer. Cloth is a good idea. Well, we've got cloth, we've got this thing, and we've got the Deathwatch insignia. We've got 3 choices at the moment. There's another 100 kilo missile. With no missile inside. I guess that one was shot. I personally go for the Inquisition symbol or the backpack topper. It is Helbrecht, but he's been converted to be Blood Angels. Blood Angels shoulder pad, Blood Angels backpack, Blood Angels shoulder pad. I'm now trying to cover his chest piece with some of the Blood Angels. But, I mean, on the battlefield for the next few weeks, he's going to be Guilliman. He's going to be a proxied Guilliman. I think if you put him side by side with Guilliman, I think he's probably similar size. Only this one will be Blood Angels. I think this is just arms and shit. I don't think I'm going to find anything that would be useful on here. Alright, I'm running out of bits boxes. Yeah, I think that's just arms and shit and a random Sanguiner. I don't know why there's a half Sanguiner there. Okay. Honestly, the Primaris helmets are very similar to Tartar's helmets. I think it looks cool, man, honestly. People get so upset about Primaris heads. Are you going to try running the Battle Predator? Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's funny to speak about it. You're asking me about the Battle Predator. I honestly think I might run the Battle Predator with Guilliman. Right? Because Guilliman will give me reroll ones. Do you know what? I wish I'd found this earlier. I might have put Sanguinary Guard wings on him somehow. I don't think there's a way I could do it now. But good to know. I've got 2 sets of spare Sanguinary Guard wings. Okay. Should try and run a Spartan. I never bought the Horus Heresy set yet. The next thing I was going to buy is boarding actions. Because I really wanted to play boarding actions, I guess. I think this is the cut bit that you guys were talking about as well, right? Is this the half cut bit that people were saying? I could. The back of the cup is quite flat. We could just stick the cup over his chest as well. It's got a blood drop. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I have a pencil in here that's like 25 years old. Is that worth anything? Any word on that plastic mastodon? Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. That's why I posted it up. I just saw it. Look at this super old metal Terminator stand. I could cut the top off that, but stick that over the chest piece? The thing about it is it's metal, so the detail on it's probably going to be pretty crap. I mean, if it was plastic, I really think I would cut the top off that. You could reserve a Ball Predator now. I mean, that's how I would think you would run it. Yeah, you'd reserve it, right? Do I have anything else that would possibly cover this? Oh. Let's see, is that the final option? Is that the final option? It will look like he's wearing a bib. Okay then. Which bit will look like he's wearing the bib? This bit will look like a bib, will it? Yeah, this bit's box doesn't have much. Got like a random storm shield here. We got a bunch of Terminator arms. Look at all these Terminator arms. Holy crap! Deathwing arms, Chain Fist arms, Thunderhammer arms. Yeah, there's more Terminator arms lying here, just not in the box as well for some reason. I got a super over. Do you remember that? There's a recharge token back when after you shot your plasma pistol, they had to recharge for the next turn. That's going back a while, right? Oh, and there's maybe one of the hunter killer missiles, or it's a missile off something else. I don't know what. Alright, I think that's the options that I've got. I kind of wanted to paint this guy at some point. He's been lying around for far too long. Or repaint him, rather. Zombie, hello, good evening. It's a 3rd edition token. I thought it was 2nd edition that you had recharged, but maybe it was 3rd. It's been a long while, right? A long, long while. The scary thing for me is, like, some of these models in here are like 20 years older than my kids. That blows my mind, you know? That's just crazy. Alright, yeah, so I think that's our options then. I think that is the options. We lose access to Blood Angels, Warlord traits, relics, and Relentless Assault secondary. Everything else we keep. What? Watching me rummage through his decades of leftover plastic. Yeah, it is decades. Look at bits of that's a bit of terrain from like the 2nd edition box set. It's probably like one of the only bits I have left. Evening, Nathan. Okay, so Centurion bits would look cool. What bits? Because I've got Centurion somewhere. What bits would look cool? Can we bring free blades in Ark of Omen? Yes. No, as long as they have the Wandering Hero rule, so you're just bringing the one detachment, Jim, you shouldn't lose anything, right? And what's... Marcus says... Marcus is actually asking about what do you lose? What are you talking about? Are you reserving Guilliman? I'm probably keeping him on the table, but yeah, you could reserve him as well, I guess. just use the red thing on the desk. The thing is, the red thing's quite small, right? And it would stick out quite a bit because of the wings. So it's like the red thing, this half goblet thing. I mean, you could maybe even just cover it with like a 3 purity seal. That might work as well. Does this guy have many purity seals on it? I mean, he's got someone in his backpack, but not really on the front of him. He's got someone on his legs. Okay, so maybe he's got enough purity seals. I'm really thinking I'm going to cover it with the Death Watch. The Death Watch logo. Hey Frank, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. You know that by being a member you can join in on our Discord and get into our members only room. Let me cut off this Death Watch logo and see what it would look like. There's a 2nd edition Death Company chaplain languishing in the Quality Streets box. It's sacrilege. He needs repainted, man. He was painted like 20 years ago, so yeah, he has been languishing in the Quality Street box. Probably been languishing in there for like 15 years, James. To be fair, at some point he will come out. I actually have 2 of those old Death Company chaplains. Yeah, I was gonna say this Inquisitor thing, or this Death Watch. What the fuck is it? It's like a Death Watch skull thing? I don't really know what it is. It would kind of cover it. But maybe it just needs to be this bit. Alright, we'll hack this bit apart. It's an Inquisition symbol. So what do you like more, the Inquisition symbol or the little skull and wings? I kind of feel like the skull and wings is maybe the right choice. Why isn't the character in Centurion armor? I don't know. I mean, I just bought the character and he's becoming my we need to send John a mold line remover. I have one, man, but I'm not that fussy. I mean, like, I'm battle ready. I actually don't really see too many mold lines on this. I mean, I guess there's one on his head, but you know, when you give it a decent coat of paint, it'll be fine. I don't spend a lot of time doing mold lines. Can you explain what I'm building? Well, this is Helbrecht, who is a Black Templars character, but I don't typically run Black Templars / ever. So here's a Blood Angel shoulder pad I filed off the shoulder underneath. I stuck on the Blood Angel's banner here, put on a Blood Angel shoulder pad here. I'm gonna try and get rid of this, and I'm trying to cover this Black Templars logo in the middle. I'm gonna paint him as a Blood Angel. At the moment, we can run Rebooty Guilliman, right? I'm going to file the back of this down then and see how we get on. Just flatten it all down if I can. I'm also going to cut off the bottom of it as well. And it's a kitchen knife. It's always funny. Do you know what? This kitchen knife has served me well. It's like 20 years old I've been using this kitchen knife for. I don't need any hobby knife. This has been fine. I've always been a budget hobbyer, I guess, in terms of like, I'd rather have more models than fancier tools. Is that wrong? Or more paints than fancier tools? You spent about 2 hours cleaning mold lines. You should have said, Mike, you could have honestly spent 10 minutes cleaning mold lines and I wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have asked you to spend 2 hours cleaning mold lines. When I did my falchion tank, my god, I think if I'd tried to do the mold lines on that, I'd still be here 3 years later. Yeah, I've always been a budget hobbyer. I mean, again, these snips are like super budget snips that I've had forever. I mean, I think I probably stole them from my dad's like toolbox, like in the early 90s. And it probably forced him to go out and buy another pair of snips, because I was like, oh dad, your snips are just claimed. So, like, they probably cost like £2 back then. The Templars hate the Inquisition, so please don't put it on Helbrecht. Well, he's not Helbrecht. I think this will work well, actually. Try to decide how much I want to file it down. But it's good timing. It's good that I can use my arm for filing and everything again. There's these snips came with the early starter pack, really? I don't know, dude. I started this hobby in 1994, so I've probably had these snips since 1994. I did take a break at one point and came back like probably like early 2000s. So maybe these snips are for the early 2000s, but they are long, very, very old. Are you going to give him a Blood Angel's name? I mean, I hadn't thought of that, but we could. I spend more time cleaning and prepping models to build than I spend building them. Fair enough. My problem, I suppose, is like I just started this hobby when I was very young. So when you're very young, you don't give a shit about mold lines or anything, right? You just I feel like you just build. All right, so that I think that would be good enough to just cover that now. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it hides all the Black Templar stuff, so maybe if I was going to say, would this file? I have a smaller file that could just file a little bit of this away. Maybe. Try and cut this in half. Elginius? I like it. I like it. Anyone got a better name? Gladiator Gaming coming in with the Elginius. I'm not expecting to get too much of it filed off, but maybe just enough so that the other part doesn't like jut out quite so far. No brick. Hi, Helgunius. Brick. Yeah, that's good too. I mean, if I'm running him at the GT that I'm going to as Reboot A for Blood Angels, we're definitely calling him. I think we're definitely calling him Helgunius. Alright, let's do it. It's not going to be perfect. Hemdall, I like that as well. Yeah. Alright, you guys are good at naming stuff. Wow. Anyone want to enter to, what is it, the Black Library? What are they doing? Open season for Black Library at the moment or something. I kind of always wanted to do that, but I don't think my writing is strong enough. I thought I'd make up a story about some sort of Blood Angels raid or event or something. I thought it could be cool. I mean, it's definitely not perfect. I think we can all agree on that. Has it hidden all the Black Templar stuff? Yes. What do you think? It's not perfect. I mean, conversions rarely are. What are you building? This is a conversion of the Black Templar, Helbrecht. I was gonna say, this is one of the best conversions that I made before, and this was in preparation for Primaris jump pack units. So I believe these are like Reaver legs, or I think maybe it was Assault Intercessor leg and chest, then a Terminator. This is from Space Hulk. This is a Space Hulk Storm Shield and arm. There's a Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pad. It's a Reaver helmet. Then a Death Company shoulder pad, some sort of Terminator, like one of these little shields, whatever you would call this. A Deathwatch heavy thunder hammer with a Blood Angels like little. It used to have a little chain dangling down, but it kept breaking, so I just cut the chain off and stuck the sort of like blood vial to the bottom of the heavy hammer. And then that's that custom Blood Angels Chaplain wings that we don't see very often, the Firstborn Chaplain wings. So this was like somebody that I made. I made this guy right at the beginning of 8th edition, because I was like, we are gonna get Primaris Smash Captains, and I'm gonna be ready, and I put them on a 40mm base, because I figured that they would be on the 40mm base, right? Like the bigger sort of Terminator size base for the Primaris Captains, and I made this guy, like, I don't know at this point. I mean, I've had him for like 3 years, and like we've never had a Blood Angels Primaris Captain. We've never been able to field it. So I actually forgot that I'd given him the Deathwatch Heavy Thunder Hammer. Brandon says this guy looks dope. Yeah, he was like my passion project in 8th edition when I was convinced we were gonna get like. I can put on another light so you can maybe see a little bit better. I was convinced we were going to get like Primaris Captains with jump packs. I was like, we're getting them. Be ready. I'm going to be ready. Then 3 years fucking later, we're still not got them. Maybe even more than 3 years now, is it? Okay. Well, there's my converted Helbrecht slash... At this point, I don't think we're ever getting jump pack Primaris. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Don't depress me, Miguel. I mean, I'll be ready. This guy has had a long wait. This is why Steven was like he's selling his models because they're not very good for this edition or whatnot. I was like, no, I will sit on these bitches, and when they become strong, I'll be ready. Good evening, Brett. How you doing? See if the Sanguinary Guard bod... I haven't left any room. I wouldn't be able to fit some wings onto this guy. But I think I have covered everything that showed he was a Black Templar. There's nothing... like the cross, the Templar cross, there is no cross on him anymore. It's completely covered. The wings on the chest piece aren't the best, but I think when I spray them, hopefully they'll feel more... They're just sticking out right now because they were previously painted, right? I think when I spray them, I'll make it match. I think it'll work. Nathan said I've only done limited conversions. I turned Lieutenant Holmeron into Primaris Collarbow, and I've turned Havoc Champion into a decent looking Hurion Blackheart. I think conversions are one of the things that I enjoyed the most when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I wasn't good at painting. I would still say I'm an average painter, but I enjoyed converting stuff, like, I guess, whatever you would call it, kit bashing. And that's actually how I started this channel, right? My first videos on this channel were kit bash videos, where I was like, I have these things, I'm going to kit bash something cool. I have a few others that are started that are cool that need finished. This was one of the first kit bashes I ever did on the channel, and it's kind of a crime that he's not painted yet. But this was, again, one of these Space Marine hero models, right? I'm pretty sure he didn't have a he didn't have a power sword arm, so I gave him a power sword arm. Then I converted his storm bolter out for like one of those are those Inceptor bolters. So it just looks a bit more chunky. And then I gave him what everybody loves to see, which is a Primaris head, right? So I need to paint this guy, paint him, and then use him as a thumbnail. And people hate him because he's got a Primaris head. But I would like to run this guy at some point, and I mean, Terminator's got good now. So yeah. Maybe we'll do a painting competition on the channel. Brett, thank you so much for... Brett's basically going to sponsor our next painting competition. He's in chat. I assume that's what you're talking about, Brett, right? Adam says most of my 40k army is converted using lots of Slovenia bits. What army do you run? Blood Angels as well, Adam? Slay Reptilian Hybrid said, I finished my very first miniature today. It is Elite Edition Outrider Ultramarines colours, and let me tell you, it's so satisfying. I love finishing models, dude. It's like one of the most satisfying things in the world when you have your army or your unit completely painted and you did it all yourself. It's very satisfying. And then it's more, as your hobby grows, it gets more and more satisfying. This is just some random Blood Angels bits that I'm going to use for my next conversion. I've got like a couple of sprues of Death Company, a couple of sprues of Sandguard. Obviously I've got those bit box, that's actually a bit of Sternguard kit, but this is just some random sprues I got lying around. I'm probably going to try and spray Helbrecht tomorrow, maybe? Weather dependent. And then we'll take it from there. By the way, so we're going to have another painting competition thanks to Brett. He's on the channel tonight, and the last two painting competitions we've done prizes, like physical prizes, and Brett has basically paid for them. So we're gonna have a painting competition this year. We're gonna figure out some prizes, I guess, and then probably like in a month's time we'll start up a competition and we'll figure it out. Is there gonna be bonus points, Brett, for if people do? Is there gonna be bonus points if people do a Primaris head? On a Terminator for the painting competition, or a beaky head on a Terminator. The two things that will trigger everybody. We need a name again. I think last year's painting competition was called Red Thirst, or Red First, as in it was like the first red painting competition. We'll come up with a name, then we'll let you know. But we will do a painting competition this year, and there'll be some physical prizes will get sent out. So that's cool. So Brett's a superstar. Thank you for that, Brett. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Brett, I think I made you like an honorary member of our members only Discord because of the painting competition last year. If I didn't, let me know and we'll set it up. But you do this for me every year, so thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Okay. I got some other models I want to convert tonight, or at least make a start on. Probably won't get them all done tonight. You didn't compete last time. You probably do it this time. Yeah, you should definitely join in. And I mean, you're painting Blood Angel stuff anyway. The painting competition will be Blood Angels based. So I know you were painting Tyranids a little while ago, Reziel. You'll need to paint some Blood Angels for the competition, I'm afraid. But that's fine. You think it's better to have 16,000 points in 4 armies rather than all in one faction to play competitively? Probably, Steve. It's probably better to have 4 armies because things come and go. But I like to be a purist, or I like to pretty much just have 1 army. I don't have time to do multiple armies, so that's why all my time gets focused into Blood Angels, basically. If you have time to deal with multiple armies, I think at some point when I finish my Blood Angels, a few years from now, or many moons from now, I will maybe work on a second army, but like, I'm so far away. By the time I get everything that I've got painted, they'll have released Primaris Sanguinary Guard or something, and I'll need to buy a shed load of them. I'm fully expecting to need like £200 or £300 this year to buy like. I think we're gonna get a range refresh similar to the Black Templars. I expect to see. I think it's going to be Primaris Sanguinary Guard. It's going to be some sort of Primaris Dante. I'd really be surprised if we didn't get those within the next 12 months or so. I mean, I've kind of said that for the last couple of years, but like every year that goes past, I feel like it's just more and more likely. Like, and in the last couple of years, we haven't had any rumors. This year has been like laden with rumors about new Blood Angel stuff. You can't go on YouTube without seeing someone making a rumors video, right? When I finish my Blood Angels, Mike says it's impossible. Yeah, exactly. At the speed that I go, it'll be 10 years before I finish my Blood Angels, because even if all, like, let's say they do release new Sanguinary Guard tomorrow, like, and I buy 25 of them, because why would you not want 25 Sanguinary Guard if they're the best? Am I converting Grimaldus next? Yeah, I've got this kit as well. So I'm gonna convert Grimaldus on his 3 little lieutenants. I was thinking that one of these lieutenants, because 2 of them have banners, that's why when I was looking earlier, I kept out that Blood Angels banner from the Sanguinary Guard, because I wonder if I can just cut this banner in half, stick my Blood Angels banner there. I'd lose the skull nonsense on top, but I think I can have this converted as well. I think. Good to have all these extra Sanguinary Guard kits running around, right? Where do you think Mephiston and Astrath sit in the meta compared to a jump pack librarian with Null Zone and Fortress? Losing Blade secondary feels really bad. I don't think losing Blade feels bad. Blade was actually really hard. Like, if you look at tournament data for Blade of Sanguinius, it was not a good secondary. It didn't score high. People that picked it generally scored like 7.5 points. Like, it was generally very low scoring. Losing Fury of the Lost sucks. I think we should have kept Fury of the Lost, because Behind Enemy Lines has been made so good now that I feel like there's almost no reason to pick Relentless Assault. You should just pick Behind Enemy Lines. And I don't have my book yet, but I will be making a video on the secondaries. I was breaking down the tournament stuff this last week. Thank you so much for following, Bruno. I appreciate it. Do I like banners? I guess. Why? Just the old banners on this Terminator? I do like the old banners. But I mean, they're very... You're definitely not modelling for advantage if you have those old banners, because you can't hide your Terminators under buildings or whatnot, because you've got a giant banner sticking out over their heads. So, I'm going to buy 20... sorry, your question. Astaroth and Mephiston, I think, probably play second fiddle to the Psychic Fortress Librarian now, yes. How do I feel about that? I don't love it, but I get it. It's probably just one season. Maybe we'll see Astaroth and Mephiston back. They keep lowering Mephiston's points cost. They keep lowering it every edition or every chapter approved. They've lowered it, like, I think he was at 160. He's now down to like 125. So they know, like, no one's taking him. So they keep lowering their points cost. But the reason no one's taking him is because he's got no bonus to cast and he's got no invulnerable save. And he's a lot of points for a model with no reliability in his casting. And no invulnerable save. So thank you so much, Reptiles, for subscribing. I appreciate it. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll see. I mean, personally, my next Blood Angels list is probably going to run a Sanguinary Priest, probably a Captain on a bike, probably the Chapter Master on the bike, and then the Librarian, as you said. I think that's the 3 choices. Because I think without the invulnerable save, we need units that can survive now, and we don't have units that can survive. So how do we do that? Well, we add invulnerable save, or we add mighty heroes, or we add both. and that worked at the beginning of the 9th edition, 100%. So I think we have to fall back on that probably. If there is 25 new Sangre Guard coming out, like if they release new Sangre Guard, if they announce it, I'm gonna need to take a week off work, and I'm gonna have to tell my wife that I need loads of time because I'm gonna have to blast them. I'm gonna have to do some sort of batch paint on them. Baynard's Revenge is a good converting one too. What would you convert Baynard's Revenge into, Steve? Jim misses Fury of the Lost already. I just started getting good with Fury of the Lost. I got to run it in one event, one tournament. I ran Fury of the Lost, and I won the tournament. So I just basically leaned into it right too late, I guess. Right as I leaned into it, they went, "Oh well, better nerf that or better remove that." That Devastator Squad Sting and Heavy Doctrine will be nasty. Yes, but I mean, Iron Hands are just better with Heavy Devastators or whatever you call them. He needs D3+1. I mean, that would help a lot as well. And also give him a Warlord trait that's actually useful. That might help too, because it's kind of a... Well, I was going to say, is it a pet peeve? It's maybe not a pet peeve. Here's the thing though, right? For example, and this is why I'm making some Black Templar characters right now. Codex creep is very real, and a good example of that actually is Mephiston's Warlord trait, right? Because Mephiston's Warlord trait is like, you fight first, right? That's it. That's the whole thing. That's his Warlord trait. There's nothing else. In the Black Templars book, they have the exact same Warlord trait, but it's you fight first and you get an additional attack. So it's just like, just because that book came out like 6 months later, the same Warlord trait, maybe it was more than 6 months actually, but the same Warlord trait is just being made quite a bit better, right? It's just like, it's the same, but it's better just because it came out 6 months later, I guess. So yeah, in the next edition, 10th edition, I kind of hope that like Jim thinks Relentless Assault is still really easy to max. Yeah, but behind enemy lines, if you do it right, Jim, you're just going to get like 4 command points every turn. Or, sorry, 4 extra command points every game. Like, I think Relentless Assault got much weaker and behind enemy lines got much better, and there wasn't much between them before, so, like, I think like, I already didn't always pick Relentless Assault, because like into some armies, like let's say Eldar for example, who are going to want multiple units in your backfield, then behind enemy lines is better in that case anyway, right? Because like if you pick Relentless Assault, you could end up actually scoring nothing for it, because they'll have like transports and troops and rangers and all that crap in your deployment zone, so you're not going to score anything for it. So like in some matchups, behind enemy lines was just better anyway. And the fact that like behind enemy lines is now going to give you command points every turn, because you're going to like, that's what I was saying, like Voidsmen at arms are going to be amazing now, right? Like 40-point Voidsmen at arms unit, if you put behind enemy lines, you just put them in the back corner of the board in terrain where no one can see them. They're going to score you 15 victory points, they're going to give you 4 command points, and they're also going to be there for like Nachman data. Yeah, I mean, it's wholly within, yes. Yes, I know it's wholly within, so yes. I just don't think that Relentless Assault is enough of an upgrade over behind enemy lines anymore. And the fact that you behind enemy lines is going to give you points with troops, it's just gonna... how are you getting Voidsmen? Because they're agents of the Imperium, so you can take a patrol of Voidsmen, or a unit of Voidsmen. And are Voidsmen troops? Yes, they are indeed troops. So, Voidsmen, along with Phobos troops, are going to give you extra command points. And Blood Angel that's one of the things we don't have, is good ways of getting command points. If you can pick a secondary that's just as good, that you're going to get command points on, then I'm all over that. Every Blood Angel's list needs a right visage character. Rights, yes. I agree with everybody needs a rights character. It works well with shock tactics. I kind of feel like you don't need Visage, but I mean, when you need Visage, right? Like when you're playing Knights, Visage is going to be very useful. I guess how often do you play Knights is the question. But yeah, shock tactics is... That's just the thing, right? Shock tactics is something you have to do anyway. Like, if you're not taking any objectives from the opponent, then how are you winning the game? I guess you could argue on like a 6 objective map, you can sit on the 3 on your side of the board and you don't need to pick shock tactics. But for the most part, you're going to have to take objectives from your opponent. So if you're going to have to take objectives from your opponent, then shock tactics is great. Which again, I think also lowers the strength, or lowers the value of Relentless Assault, as in like Relentless Assault you just have to have the units hanging out in the enemy's deployment zone. Arguably on some maps there's no objectives in the enemy deployment zone, so they're just in there chilling, I guess. Not doing all that much, not being that useful. Whereas like shock tactics, you could just say, well, if it's a 5 objective map, I'm going to have to flip 1 objective every turn probably, or I'm not going to win the game, and then you do that like 3 times anyway, without hardly even trying it. Shock tactics to me feels like a solid 12 most games. How did I find the Wolves match last week? I think Space Wolves are strong. Their cavalry's strong. Like, the cavalry's crazy strong actually, now that they get free Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, you know, like they're 45 points, they move 10 inches, they advance and they charge. They have a boatload of Thunderhammer attacks. They get +1 to hit on the charge as well, I think. So their Thunderhammers are just really reliable too, or they feel really reliable. In the game against Space Wolves, I think I could have possibly lost, but my Impulsor was MVP. And sometimes it goes like that, I guess. Where, like, you know, against Iron Hands this week, like, my Impulsor just died instantly. Whereas, like, I think when you've got invulnerable saves, shit swings, right? Like, so, if you take an Impulsor to a tournament, 1 or 2 of the games you'll swing high on the saves, right? 1 of the 2 of the games you'll maybe swing low on the saves. Against the Votann, for example, they killed my Impulsor and a bunch of my Blade Guard turn 1. Whereas, like, the Space Wolf shot everything he had in his army at the Impulsor, which had gone up the board, and he did no damage. Or, I mean, I say he did no damage, he took, like, 4 wounds off of it. So he shot it with, like, 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, Bjorn, Eliminators, he even had a friggin' Calidus Assassin? No, Vindicator Assassin. Like, he shot everything at it, and it did, like, 4 wounds to it. And I just went, like, oh, okay, cool. Is that all you're shooting, you know? So, yeah, Wolves are slow, though, except the cavalry, right? The cavalry are surprisingly fast. You know, 10-inch move and advance and charge. And the commander on the cavalry can do that as well. So really, those cavalry have like a 25... I mean, realistically, probably like a risk, like a fairly reliable 20-inch threat range on those Thunderwolf cavalry. And at 45 points a model, toughness 5... and 4 wounds each, they're no joke, right? You can trade them with a unit or 2 of Death Company for sure, but it's just like they have just as good threat range as the Death Company, really. So you really have to watch out for that. Right's Visage lets you get 12-16 on Shock Assaults with your eyes closed. Yeah, I mean, Shock Assault is a very good secondary. I picked it every in the event that I just won. I picked it in every matchup. I didn't do Relentless Assault once, I didn't do Behind Enemy Lines once, I just went to that event knowing, pretty much, I was always going to take Shock Assault, I was always going to take Fury of the Lost, I was always going to take Retrieve Battlefield Data. I did think, like, hey, if there's an opportunity to get loads of units into the opponent's deployment zone and not have to worry about them, I will take Relentless Assault. But most of the time I was like looking at maps where I was like, well, I need to hold these objectives anyway, so taking Shock Assault is... you know, is something that I was going to do anyway. And my game against Iron Hands this week, which I lost, I I scored 12 in Shock Assault, and I would have got 16 if I didn't fail like a 6-inch charge. So realistically, in the game against Iron Hands, I would have scored all my Shock Assault. When you fail like a 6-inch charge with a reroll, there's nothing you can do about it. That shit happens. You know, it happens. I'm wondering if I can change this Crozius out for something, actually. I'm wondering if I have something that would work. Mike says I'm still super salty we don't get an advanced on charge mechanic anywhere. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem that we didn't have advanced in charge when we used to get the 3d6 charge from Deep Strike. And it wasn't 3d6 and discard 1 dice, it was just 3d6 charge from Deep Strike. So it just gave us like 1 guaranteed charge, I would say, from Deep Strike every turn, because you would pay the CP for it and then you would have a command point reroll. If you can't roll an 8 with 3d6 and a reroll every turn, I feel like you're just not good. I mean, that's just not your night, right? Most of the time 3d6, because you're talking like a 2, and a 3. Like a really crappy roll will still pass. Wolves can just be as fast as Blood Angels with a ton of jump units. Yeah, you know what, I've played Wolves before where they did like Whirlwind of Rage and all that nonsense. And like Vanguard Veterans for Wolves again are really good, I think, because with Whirlwind of Rage they would be like hitting on 2s, exploding 6s. So yeah, I think Wolves can be a tough matchup for Blood Angels, for sure. I wouldn't say I'm the most experienced player against Wolves, but I did okay against them at this event. I think the trick is to remember that they can heroically intervene with like everything. So as long as you don't get like caught by that, I think you can do okay. And I think it's a 6-inch heroic, I can't remember. Voidsmen must need to be in a patrol detachment now. Battlescribe doesn't have them listed anymore as the main arcs detachment. No force organization options anymore. How can we get them? I mean, Battlescribe isn't always right. Trying to think. I think I have the printout with the Voidsman rules. Let me see. Do I have them printed out here? Agents of the Imperium. If your army is Battleforged, then you can include 1 agent of the Imperium unit in each Imperium detachment. Oh, it says patrol in each Imperium patrol battalion and brigade detachment without those armies taking up a battlefield role slot in this detachment. The inclusion of the agents of Imperium does not prevent other abilities from being lost, blah 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 blah. An agent of Imperium unit in a patrol battalion or brigade detachment in this manner is ignored for rules at state. Huh. What does it say for snipers? Is it the same? Or for assassins, like... Let me check Wikipedia. I never really go by what's in Battlescribe though. There's always so many problems with Battlescribe. Lord of Deceit is being slept on with Infiltrators being a good unit. Lord of Deceit is probably being slept on, Brandon, because if you get to go first now, you can sticky basically all the objectives. I talked about that in my weekly video this week actually, about how good Space Marine sticky objectives is. And yeah. Wasn't there recent Arcs of Omen FAQ on Voidsman and Inquisition as they were ruined by it? There was. You cannot take assassins at the moment? Nah. Really? So can you take Inquisition at the moment? They were I haven't looked too deep into it. I thought that they were opening up the ability to take stuff, not restricting it. Okay, so the assassin says the inclusion of Agent Imperium does not. I guess it says the same thing. You can include it in a battalion, patrol, or brigade. That's got to be wrong. Is that wrong? Mark Scribe says Assault Marine Meltagun is 5 points, but they're actually free. Yeah, that's correct. Agency patrol, not our arts to detachment. I mean, yeah, I guess they'll FAQ that maybe. Wandering Heroes is the only Agents of Imperium they didn't break. It might be worth somebody just sending a question to Games Workshop. You know, you can just go onto their website and you can ask them questions. It very much might be worth getting somebody to like put in that question, like, hey, are all the Agents of the Imperium detachments supposed to be broken? Because hold on, they just Games Workshop just released what did they do? They put out one of their community articles that talked about boarding actions, and in their boarding actions article they actually said that they were taking Imperial breachers in their boarding action patrol. So technically the boarding action detachment is called a boarding action patrol detachment. Technically they've contradicted themselves there, right? Because technically the Agents of Imperium rule doesn't say you can include these units in a boarding action patrol detachment. My list was from before. That tournament was on the old rules, Gladiator. We were using the new points costs, but we weren't using any of the new rules. So we weren't using the new detachment. So the list was valid for... it was valid for the event. I mean, the list was verified by the tournament organizer. They would have said if it wasn't valid, I guess. It was one of those events where you put your list in a few days before, you know? Boarding action isn't match play. Well, I mean, it could be though, right? Is there any reason why boarding action wouldn't be match play? I don't know. I haven't, like I said, my books haven't turned up yet. I guess I'm dealing with crappy printing and they've delayed the books for whatever reason. I don't know how his arm's supposed to go on either. It's using the point. Well, yeah, okay. I haven't seen the book yet, Reziel. You already got the book, have you? I was working on getting a commission done for the terrain because I really do want to play some boarding actions. I think it'll be a nice change of pace. My board, sorry, my Voidsmen are actually converted Tempest Scions. I'm sure that they didn't mean to break the Agents of the Imperium, because it seems very strange that they would do a news article about them if they're dead, or if they're yeah. I mean, actually hadn't realised that the Agent of Imperium rules were invalid at the moment. I just assumed that they would have stayed the same. DTM, what's your take on the Agents of Imperium? They're dead? They're not working? They're invalid? Did I end up buying the train? Asked Cambo. No, Cambo, I didn't, just because it was like $105. I'm gonna buy it in like a month or two's time. I've got some other stuff that I'm buying at the moment. But yeah, no, it's on my list, and I'm gonna get the terrain commissioned, because otherwise I'll never get it done, because I'll be busy with my Blood Angels. Antonius, thanks so much for becoming a company veteran. I logged in tonight with actually a goal. I thought to myself, I'll put a goal up of getting 3 new members before the end of the month. And you guys have smashed it just tonight, so thank you so much for that. I'm actually probably going to do a little bit more hobby next. I don't think I'm going to play a game next week. Andrew's had to cancel on me again. So I thought I was just going to maybe do a bit extra hobby next week, because I've got that GT the first week of March. And with the kids and stuff, I really only get like 1 night a week to hobby, which is, at the moment, it's like this Saturday night. So I feel like I'm going to struggle to get the things that I want to have ready, because I actually don't even know what my GT army is now after this event. I think if it's Blood Angels, I'm probably just going to go like, I was thinking about this, like 2 squads of Thunderhammers on the Death Company, maybe like a 5-man Sanguinary Guard, and then all my other elites are going to have Storm Shields. I think it's going to be Terminators and Blade Guard veterans. And then maybe I'll actually run some Ball Predators. But I have no idea what my Blood Angels list looks like for this next event, so regardless, I'm going to need time to paint things. I brought this Repulsor out. I'm wanting to put some paint. I'm wanting to get 3 colours on that. I don't know if I'm going to field it, but I'm wanting to get some 3 colours on that. And I'm wanting to get 3 colours on the Heavy Intercessors. Again, I don't know if I'm going to field them, but I'm wanting to get the 3 colours on them anyway. So this week, I think I'll fight Iron Hands next week. And this week I'll just try and do an extra painting stream or something when I would be playing. DTM says he wouldn't panic, he would expect an FAQ. Yeah, that's... I didn't even realise they were broken, honestly. I really expected them to just still work. Good to know that they don't work, though. You can add Voidsman to a Blood Angels Arc of Omen detachment in the GW app without triggering invalid warnings, says Chris. Alright, Chris, thank you for sharing that. So, it sounds like it's just a mistake on the rules writing team. And they probably forgot that those Agents of the Imperium specifically mentioned the certain detachments, and they'll probably just update that. They'll probably do like a anytime those things is mentioned. And they did have that FAQ just that last week. Repulsor, what's your game plan with that? I mean, the game plan would be to reserve it, to bring it in from the side of the board and unload everything into a target that I want to die, and then probably put aggressors inside it, because I don't really see how else I'm getting aggressors across the board, and then have the aggressors charge out of it like the next turn or something. Like it. The game plan is reserves. GW have put a huge, like this patch where you can put anything you want in reserve and it's not going to cost you CP. It makes it's kind of a giant buff for shooting armies, honestly. Like I think it gives shooting armies a huge edge. So I think having some shooting is going to be probably pretty useful. I'm gonna put some Blood Angel shoulder pads on this guy. When are you getting your Terrax, and do you plan on using it in games? As Nathan, the Terrax is done. It's fully painted, as far as I'm aware. Mike's been painting it for me. Mike was in the chat like a few minutes ago. The Terrax is done. He's just doing the rest of the commission, so I should be getting it hopefully within the next month or so. I don't want to put too much pressure on Mike, but yeah, I mean, I think he's almost done with the commission. So, do I plan on using it? Yes. Do I know what I'm putting inside the Terrax? No, I have no idea what I'm putting inside the Terrax, but I bought it because I thought it was a cool unit, and I know with Icon of the Angel you can reroll your charge on the Terrax because Icon of the Angel doesn't care about being core, and I thought the Terrax with its D6 plus 3, I think it does, to vehicles. Or maybe it's 6 plus D3, one of the two. I know it can do 9 damage a swing to vehicles. I thought that sounded crazy. Into an army like Iron Hands, having the Terrax just in their backfield eating their vehicles alive. Or he could even eat his character Dreadnought alive in like 1 or 2 turns. Cruiser says, if I want to magnetize a Centurion squad so I can run it as different versions, will a tournament care that the models still have the assault launchers on when they don't have them equipped? Not really. Those assault launchers / hurricane bolters are tiny, Crozier. So you can magnetize them. I have done it with tiny little magnets behind it. But honestly, I don't think anyone would care. As long as it's valid on your army list and if there's any... They're so small. If someone looks at your Centurions before the battle and says, hey, how are the Centurions armed? You just tell them how they're armed. I don't think anyone would care. Reziel will be back next time to disagree with me more. We'll have to have a proper talk about Relentless Assault, Reziel. If Voidsmen come back, then I think Behind Enemy Lines is just so good now for Voidsmen. And the fact that they changed it from 2 to 3 points per turn, you do it with just 1 unit. It's just so good. But Behind Enemy Lines is like the biggest winner in terms of secondaries. I'll do a video on secondaries whenever the book comes out, and you can kill me in the comments. But I really think Behind Enemy Lines is one of the biggest winners. Some are pedantic, says Campbell. Yeah, sometimes they can be pedantic, but the ones I tend to go to are more chilled, and they would be probably okay with that. Antonia said that he is just new to the hobby, and the channel has helped him out amazingly. I'm really glad to hear that. There's some resources you can download by being a member, Antonius. Hit me up in Discord, and I'll make sure that you have access to them. I probably need to do a new members post, so people that have just become members for the first time or something can easily find those resources. Unless there's a way to filter the community tab by members only, I'm not sure. Good evening, Lamented Son. How you doing? I think assault launchers go where the bolters go in the Centurions. I just build them with the bolters myself. I don't think people will care. Yeah, I built mine with the bolters, actually, and I think I built mine with both because I magnetized it, but I think I've been running them with the bolters, like when I've been playing them on the tabletop. I never changed them out. I'm pretty sure mine are just the bolter version, but I've been running them with assault launchers for like 6 months. Or I haven't run Centurions in a long time, but when I was, I guess that's what I was doing. So I think they're honestly one of the smallest pieces on any model, I feel like. So you'll probably be able to get away with it. Nucking, good evening. How you doing? Congrats on the tournament win. Haven't you finished video, but it looks good. Yeah, thank you so much. It felt really good to finally win something in 40k. I've been at the I know it wasn't a solo event. I still do want to win a solo event, but after I've been 4-1 at a bunch of events and just missed winning out. And then at 2 of the RTTs I also just missed out. So I'm really happy to finally have won something, I guess. Really happy. I wonder. Alright, someone in stream tell me what this sword thing on the back of Grimaldus's backpack is. Is that like a known Black Templar thing, this sword, or is it just a half-broken sword for some other reason? One of you lower junkies tell me what this sword means. Technically it was still a win. I mean, yeah, it was still a win. I just had a little help from my allies, I guess. Have you thought about hosting or running a Blood Angels tournament like what Valrak did? I don't really know what Valrak did. I think, like, I saw something on his Facebook page this weekend, like Valfest or something, but I don't really know what it is. No one normally cares as long as you don't miss some launchers and some with bolters and actually build. Yeah, I mean, not too many people care, is my opinion on, like, if we're talking about bolt guns, for example, there's like auto bolters, there's rapid fire bolters, and there's heavy bolters. In the instructions, they don't tell you which is which, if I remember correctly. So, like, I just built mine with the ones that I think looks coolest, and if I run them as assault bolters and anyone says those aren't assault bolter ones, I'll just say, well, I thought they were. You know, there is no... In the Dark Imperium box, which they came with, like all the default intercessors, unless I'm being an idiot, I'm pretty sure they don't... There's nothing that said, these are the assault bolters, these are the heavies. How about some free hand flamers and Death Company models now? I mean, yes, why not? Infernal Pistols swing. I mean, hand flamers will swing as well, I suppose. But yeah, if you've got some that have been built with hand flamers, then why not? It's a reference to the broken sword of Dorn, which the chaplain take their vows before, says Steve T. Okay, somebody knows his lore. Well done, Steve, thank you. So should I cut it off? And if I do cut it off, should I just replace it with Blood Angel's wings? That'll be very similar to the Grimaldus that we converted. I mean, I've got another one of those winged things. I could easily replace the sword on top of his head with wings. I mean, I do like those Blood Angels wings. They are cool. Grimaldus is a big fan of the broken sword. He still has the original PS1 copy. Of course, James. Coming in, dropping the knowledge bombs on us tonight. I don't think I ever played Broken Sword. Can be the Sword of Sanguinius. Call it Bloodaldus. Cut it off and stick it in the orc. Let me see if they've got any better option. Here's the actual sprue for this. I was gonna say, converting this guy's banner might be a challenge. It's got all this skeleton nonsense, doesn't it? Cut it off and replace it with Blood Angel's iconography of choice. I mean, I didn't see that many options that I have though when I was looking through my bits boxes that of choice. I didn't see that many bits lying around that probably used a lot of my Blood Angels bits. Like every time I make a Dreadnought or something, I'd convert it. Every time I made that Death Company I made that Death Company Redemptor Dreadnought. You know, like I'm always doing bits. I'm always changing bits out. People were asking when the army show is going to start again. I think the army show is going to start again tomorrow night. It's just after midnight, so I don't have too much more time tonight. But yeah, I think we'll start the army show back up tomorrow night. Do I know what is a good Blood Angels army at the moment? No. Will we do the army show anyway? And try and figure it out together? I guess yes. Does that sound good? I think I really want to play a few games running the Librarian Priest again. With, what is it? You know what I'm talking about. With Psychic Fortress. It used to have a lot of value. Like Psychic Fortress used to be really good before Armor of Contempt. There's not enough glue in there. Null Zone? Yeah, Null Zone too. I mean, Null Zone will be less strong against like demon and vulnerable saves and all that nonsense, but it's still good. Triple Reaper list. I mean, Reapers have got better, but Andrew was running the Reaper for Iron Hands, and honestly, it didn't seem... I mean, for Iron Hands, it's way better, right? Because it's got an extra point of AP for the whole game, and it has reroll ones for the whole game. And it didn't seem that good. Like, it really didn't seem that good. And that's with me saying Marines have no survivability, and it just didn't seem that good. The Valiants seem crazy good for Iron Hands, I'll tell you. That felt like the polar opposite of the Reaper. I'm surprised I don't have like a blood chalice. You know that, like a blood chalice that would go on the top of a backpack. That would be cool. I'm really surprised I don't have that. Maybe I'll leave this backpack not glued on, and off stream I'll have a look through all these boxes again and see if I've got a blood chalice or something. You rolled hot? Did I really roll hot? I just didn't feel like it was that many. Was it not only like 5 or 6 saves? I had a chalice but I had a hand on it. Yeah, I mean the one with the hand would be useless though, right? I wonder if I've got one of those like a bigger version of this sort of thing. You know, like you used to get these on Terminator backpacks. Might have something bigger than that could maybe make work. Wasn't the firstborn upgrades through? Yeah, I mean, but one with a... I've tried taking one of those hands off those chalices before. It's pretty tricky. It's pretty difficult. I wouldn't recommend it as a fun thing to try and do. It's not fun. I've done it before. Like I said, it's really not fun. Didn't you have a random Sanguiner? He does have something neat. I do have a random Sanguiner, and he did have... It's just that it's resin and it looked kind of terrible. I've got this thing. What's that? There's a bit of a... Is it top of a Terminator backpack? It's a possibility. Having it turn up turn 2 from reserve and dumping 44 shots is very nice. I mean, if you've got Guilliman there and you can reroll all those shots too, that seems really, really nice, right? Or you can reroll half the shots because half of them will be ones. Yeah. Man, this room. My plan for Christmas holidays was to clean this room. With me breaking my arm, it meant that none of it is cleaned, and it's a fucking disaster. If you could see all the mess here, you'd believe me. I mean, there's even got like we get kids' toys in here as well. Say hello to Elsa. Why is she even in here, honestly? Hello, Dark Ginger. How you doing? If I was going to turn something up for reserve, I think I would want it to be the Valiant with the... But who knows? The reserve rules this edition are going to be interesting, aren't they? Everything good is going to be in reserve. We're going to see some crazy shit coming out of reserve, I feel like. Never clean, only hobby. Yeah, I was really planning on cleaning the room over Christmas. I promise you, I was. I'd written it down and everything. I was going to do it. What's going to take you to run 10 interceptors? I mean, every time I run them, and I ran the bolter ones to a tournament. And I genuinely really liked the bolter ones. The plasma ones for me never perform. They never perform. I use them so many times. I've brought them so many games. They just never perform for me. I don't know why. I think maybe when you only bring... It's like when you only bring one Redemptor. Sometimes you bring one Redemptor, you never roll enough hits on the single plasma gun, right? Yeah. Alright, I'm done hobbying. Arms are kind of sore anyway, so... Oh, I can almost reach that light. Almost. Picked up that light with one arm earlier and it was pretty fucking sore. Look, this is... I'm reaching... Bolters aren't plasma. Free plasma, Captain rerolls and Priest reses. I would... Do you know what? Even if I had a Captain next to them, I don't think I reroll the ones. The averages of... If you got 18 shots... The chance of getting a 1 is like 5%, and then the chance of re-rolling it into a 1, I mean, it's like 1 in 5 times you're killing a model. I don't know, man. I think that's horrific. I hate models that kill themselves. If it did a mortal wound, I would run it. But then you're having to run Selfless Healer, aren't you, right? I haven't decided yet if I feel like Selfless Healer is good. I haven't decided if I feel like Selfless Healer is good. I just got a PayPal from Brett from earlier. He sent me enough to get like 2 or 3 boxes of prizes for this painting event, so that's awesome, Brett. If you're still here, thank you so much for that. Dark Angels, sorry, 2 games against White Scars. Vanguard Veterans and Terminators, Blood Angels are doing just fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate that I did a lot of Terminators earlier this edition. So I'm probably gonna... 1 Blade Guard, 2 Terminators? Is that what you're thinking? Or you think 1 Blade Guard, 2 Terminators, 2 Death Company, and then Sangry Guard or something for the elite choices? In a world where units get traded, that's true, but 30 points more gives you attack bikes. Attack bikes have multi-meltas. They have more wounds. They have more movement. They have way more damage. Plasma Inceptors are also really bad into -1 damage targets, right? I don't like that I feel I need to take a Sangre Priest, says Jim. Yeah, me neither, Jim. There should be a strat for Blood Angels that lets us go into Assault Doctrine for like 1 CP. That strat that no one uses, Red Rampage, I think it's called, that no one uses ever. That should probably be... That should probably be like... it just puts you in Assault Doctrine for a turn. You can use it once per game or something, as opposed to you get 1 more EP once per game on 6s and no one uses it. Ed ran Selfless Healer tonight and only brought back 1 Terminator. I only bring him with Assault Doctrine, really. Yeah, I mean, that's why I bring him as well. The 6 that feel no pain can be useful for sure. But yeah, you're right. Plasma Scepters are fine into -1 damage, just don't overcharge. Are they enough damage though? That's my question, right? Like, let's say you bought 5 Plasma Scepters. So that's 200 points, and you bring them down and you shoot them at, like, I don't know, a Contemptor Dreadnought or something, right? So you get 20 shots. Let's say you hit on 3s, let's say you reroll 1s. So that's like an 80% hit chance. I mean, if you want to be semantic, it's like 77.8. But let's just say 80, so it's actually better. So out of your 20 hit rolls, you'd make 16 hits, right? You're strength 7, they're toughness 7, so you land on 4s. So you have 8 for them to save. Well, their Dreadnought's got a 5-up save, so they'll save on 5s, I guess. So realistically, 200 points of Plasma Inceptors with rerolls 1s does 6 wounds to 140 point model. I mean, maybe that's why I don't run them, because I'm like... Typically, if I was bringing Plasma Inceptors, that's the sort of thing that I need them to hit. Usually, like, I need them to take out enemy armor or something. You know, the enemy have those things screened, I can't get to them. If I don't take them out, they're going to shoot the crap out of me with their double Volcons or something. We can get a strat to give them +2 to hit. Alright, cool, so you do 2 more wounds to it. So you've done 8 wounds to the Contemptor on average. And then they save like 5 or 6 of them. So, like, if they have a Tech Marine there, for example, like if you're playing Iron Hands, then realistically your Plasma Inceptors, 200 points of Plasma Inceptors have come down and they've done like 3 damage to a Dreadnought. Yeah, you could argue that, like, hey, don't shoot your plasmas at -1 damage targets, but I think we live in a world of, hey, it's not that simple. I mean, like, if you're playing the list that I played this week that was like 4 Gladiators, which are toughness 8, or 3 Leviathans, then your only 2 targets you've got for the Plasma Inceptors are Leviathans, which you're only going to do like 6 to 7 wounds on, or the Gladiators, which, yes, I guess you could overcharge and you could probably do more damage, but you're only going to wound the Gladiators on 5s because they're toughness 8. So out of your like 16 hits, you're only going to do like 5 or 6 wounds. So again, you're not, at best, probably going to do like 6 to 8 damage on the Gladiator. And again, if he's got Tech Marine there, then he's just healing that up, and you've spent 200 points on Plasma Inceptors and you've done nothing. So that's my issue with Plasma Inceptors, is like, I don't think they're versatile. Like, yeah, sure, there's units that they could kill. A lot of people are running MSU units at the moment as well, so you're not going to get to shoot. Oh yeah, Plasma Strength 8 on if you overcharge it. Sure, yeah, okay. So you might be able to kill a Gladiator. I was going to say you'd get 16 hits, 3s rerolling 1s. You get 8 wounds. They save on 6s. All right. So yeah, maybe you can kill 1 Gladiator. But then your plasmas are instantly mopped up, and your plasmas cost a lot more points than the Gladiator. So at that point, why would you not just put a Gladiator into reserve instead of Plasma Inceptors? It's a moot point to compare Inceptors into the Iron Hands list. Well, here's the thing though, like at tournaments, and that's how I try and always think of things. At tournaments, people bring the most overpowered bullshit stuff they can bring because they want to win the events. At least at the events I go to. Like, you turn up, like one of the events I turned up to, and it was that Tyranids list that I think, like, that Tyranid, or Tyranids list, whatever you want to call them, That Tyranids list was honestly, like, if you try to make that Tyranids list now, it would be like 2,800 points. Like, it was so broken, it was so powerful. He can do like 25 mortal wounds a turn. You can't even charge him. You know, people will bring the strongest, most bullshit stuff to an event. So for me, I would rather bring in 3 attack bikes within half range. They're all d6 plus 2 damage, and cross my fingers and say, like, well, 2 of my attack bikes managed to sneak through their armor. That's instantly 4 plus 2d6 damage. In general, I think that's a lot better than Plasma Inceptors, and it's cheaper in points as well. I mean, I ain't won any solo events, so I mean, I guess take it with a grain of salt, right? But I just think in general, for me anyway, like if I'm looking at fast attack and I've got 200 points to spend, attack bikes with multi-meltas generally feel like they're just a better option than Plasma Inceptors. And the amount of games that I've played in my attack bikes have done work, whereas the amount of games I've played where my Plasma Inceptors have just let me down. Personal preference, man. I don't like plasmas. But yeah, I mean, if you like plasmas and you think you get value out of them and you think they're versatile, knock yourself out, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you not to run them. Some people are going 10 plasmas. I've heard of people going for 10 plasmas. I don't know. I just don't like them. My Terminators can use the teleport Homer to come out next to the Inceptors and charge. That's very true. That is very true. So, yeah, I mean, if you like them, you like them, I guess. I'm going to call it a night, guys. Please make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Crozier says he uses them to kill infantry squads with the Inceptors coming down on trees, of course. They cost 120 points and kill at least as many models when you brought them down. Yeah, I mean, if you fight armies that have big infantry squads and you can get the max shots per gun, then that helps a lot as well. Maybe I fight too many elite armies, so for Inceptors I'm always rolling for the number of shots. Maybe Eradicators are a thing in reserve now. They definitely could be. I mean, Eradicators with a free multi-melta coming in reserve, free to put into reserve, much smaller footprint. That actually kind of wrecked me against Iron Hands this week, right? He had 2 squads of Eradicators in reserve. Iron Hands have the advantage where they can put the heavy melta rifles into reserve, so like they're doing d6 plus 4, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, there'll be a lot. We'll see, like, there's an even argument now where you could put like 3 Blood Angels Dreadnoughts into reserve. You could run 3 Redemptors in reserve, and you could just bring in one in turn 2 and 2 in turn 3, and just go for those 9-inch charges and shoot everything as well. Because Redemptors work really well in combat as Blood Angels. And obviously their weakness is starting on the board with no invulnerable save. Well, you don't need to do that now. You've got them in reserve for free. They used to probably cost like 12 power level. I don't think getting unlimited stuff in reserve for free is good for the game, honestly. I guess we'll see. It makes it such a tradey game, and like, if you've got good units that you can have in reserve, like Eradicators, like attack bikes, like yeah, and I mean, I guess attack bikes before you would have to have spent CP to put them in reserve. You don't now, so attack bikes arguably for me over plasmas. I don't know. Interesting times. We'll be back tomorrow night, Army List show. So we'll see what people are submitting. A bunch of people have submitted lists. 3 vanilla Contemptors with multi-meltas in reserve. You get the invuln and you get no CP cost, says Jim. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Just come in 9 inches away from an enemy character, try and pop some wounds off them with the multi-melta, charge them, boom. I'd much rather 3 Centurions with meltas and bolters for 180 than a Redemptor for 185. Probably a good point, actually, DTM. I hadn't really considered 3 Centurions with meltas and bolters. If you can get them, yeah, that's... Then maybe Blood Angels want 1 Sandguard, 2 Death Company, Centurions, Terminators, Blade Guards. We just have a mix of all the elites because they're all good now. Or they're all interesting. Centurions generally eat anything they get into combat with. Because I think it's like 18 attacks. Yes, you only hit on 3s, but you wound pretty much everything in the game on 2s, and your drills are -4 even in turn 2. They go up to -5 in turn 3. Chapters like Dark Angels, Ultramarines, and Iron Hands make so much better use of these. They do, Anton. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say is there's no risk for Iron Hands, right? Iron Hands bring in their really powerful models at the side of the board and they hit 80% of the time. While Blood Angels, when you bring in your really powerful models from the side of the board or from Deep Strike, you have an 8-inch charge, which we know is super unreliable. If you run Bobby G, he gives you your Centurions rerolls. He does indeed, and Bobby G actually gives your Centurions a 7-inch charge. Because that his +1 to charge will stack with Blood Angels. I'm gonna make some whack Blood Angels list this next week. I'll get him sprayed tomorrow, Grimaldus. This is gonna be Bobby G for my list, my Blood Angels Primarch. I'm gonna get him sprayed tomorrow. I'm gonna run some sort of whack list that includes him. We're gonna base it around getting those 7-inch charges from Deep Strike. We're also going to maybe have Centurions that you just talked about using reroll 1s because I'd like to reroll 1s. Might even have some Baal Predators in there. They'll reroll 1s as well from Bobby G. I'm so glad Grimaldus came on a 60 base. I couldn't believe it because I was going to Google Bobby G and I was like, what size base does he come on? Oh, it's a 60. Oh, sick. So Grimaldus can double as Bobby G. I don't really want to have to buy them both. Are 2 laser destroyers and 2 heavy flamers good to take? Are 2 laser destroyers and 2 heavy... What do you mean 2 heavy flamers? I have bought a Vindicator laser destroyer. And I think again with Bobby G hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, it adds much needed reliability. Vindicator laser destroyers is good. I don't know what you mean by heavy flamers. I could even go all out whack and bring that Fire Strike servo turret. In from reserve, hits on 2s, so reroll 1s from Bobby G. So you basically have an attack bike that is a Fire Strike turret. 4 las cannons, 24 inches, hitting on 2s, 80 points. I don't know, I'm good. This is why I have my heavy intercessors on the table here as well, and this is why I have more Terminators on the table here as well. This next 6 months is going to be fucking crazy. Lancers are better than Vindicator laser destroyers now because they're 50 points less. Well, I've got a Lancer, cool, so I could run that. Bobby G is great for buffs, but I've killed him a few times for being too bold. Yeah, I'll need to learn how to play him. It's good to know about the Lancer though, I appreciate that, Jim, because I have a Lancer, so maybe I'll run the Lancer. The next few weeks, basically like, the next few weeks are going to be mad Blood Angels lists, then I'm going to try a couple of crazy Black Templar lists, and then I'm going to go to a tournament, and I'm going to take whatever I think is the most broken, that gives me the best chance of winning, because I think everybody will not know what the fuck they're doing because everything has changed so much. 2 shots is way too little, but 2 shots when you can reroll the 1s as well is maybe not so bad. Alright, thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. Leave a like before you head out the door, or whatever you call that. I'll catch you guys tomorrow night, hopefully. By the blood, are we made strong? Peace. And if you didn't watch my video from Friday, you should watch it, because I put a shitload of work into it. And I've got another one coming about all the matches next week, so I'm going to get working on that on Monday. So enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you next time. And thank you to everybody new that subscribed and liked, and also got some new members tonight. So thanks so much for the new members as well. I appreciate it. Peace.